Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Universus Academy podcast. With you, as always, I'm your host, John Jennings, and with me, as always, is my co-host Ryan Kraft. And we have a very special guest with us today. We have Mr. Tam Cardwell. You guys may know him. He does a lot of content on YouTube and does some Twitch streaming and stuff. Tam, how's it going, man?
It's going so good. It's going so good. Thank you guys for having me on today.
No
Yeah,
problem,
man.
man. We appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to come over here and talk to us about some card gaming and just kind of about your setup and stuff. Normally, over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about various stuff, various current events, or looking at like the symbols and different cards. But today, we're going to take a little bit of a left turn, and we're going to start our interviews. We've kind of hinted that we're going to do some interviews with different people in the My Hero content creator world, maybe some people with Jasco. But we thought we'd get everything going with everybody's favorite content creator in the My Hero Academia universe, and that is Mr. Tam Cardwell.
Well, thank you so much. That makes me feel very good.
It's well, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming on with us. So just to kind of get us going, let's talk a little bit about your background and gaming and that kind of stuff. What got you started with card gaming? Was there like a specific game that got you started, or was it like a family member or a friend? What was your genesis?
I mean, the easy answer, and it's probably everybody's answer, is Pokemon, right?
Mhm.
Pokemon, the anime came out, and we just couldn't get enough of it. And so my dad decided to buy me a couple packs, and it was all downhill from there. I remember going to events. I remember as like a 8-9-year-old kid going to my local card shop and competing, and I first tasted victory. They did this thing with Pokemon where you had to get the first 8 badges. I don't know if this was like a national thing or just like a local thing, but we had little stamp books, and it was like scaling up, and I was so proud of me getting the Boulder badge. I got the Boulder badge, and I was so hyped. And from there, it jumped from uh the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, right? And then like there's an anime about this card game. I like the Pokemon card game. I like Pokemon. It ties 1 to 1. So that was the game that my dad actually played with me a bunch, was Yu-Gi-Oh. And not to mention, like, as like a card game player, one of the big games in our family house is Canasta, which is just like played with like a 52 deck of cards. You play with 4 of them. 4-player game, teams, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So like card games have been in our family for a long time, but like these competitive TCGs, it wasn't until high school for Yu-Gi-Oh where I was like playing in the lunchroom, and then somebody came up and just absolutely mollywopped me, and I went, "Wait, your cards do what?" And from there it like went from being like okay, fun kitchen table card games into, going to nationals for
Oh, wow.
Yu-Gi-Oh a couple of times, winning with a bunch of rogue decks, get introduced to Universus, and then it's all I don't want to say downhill. It's all uphill from there. It's
There
all
you go. Yeah, exactly.
right to the moon.
So
Nice.
I have a question. So how did your like ancient ancestors know that card games were going to be a thing, and then have the surname Cardwell? How did that come
Yeah.
to be?
I don't know. I have no idea. It actually only dawned on me a couple years ago, like into my Universus career. As you guys are veterans of Universus, or UFS, if you win a major at that, you get a character card. Like you get a piece of cardboard. You get to design it, whatever. And a lot of people put little names at the little quotes at the bottom. And the quote that I was going to put on the bottom of my character card was Superman cards good, I card well.
Nice. I like
Amazing.
that.
Yeah.
I
And it wasn't
love a
until
good
that
pun.
I went,
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been
I was
amazing.
made for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the topic of Universus UFS, how long have you been involved? Like, I assume you kind of came in somewhere along the middle, or or have you been around from the beginning, from the Soul Calibur 3 and Street Fighter 3 sets?
Oh, you are hilarious. My first set ever, the first pre-release that I went to was actually everybody's favorite set, The World of Endines.
Oh wow.
Okay, that's
Okay.
that's. I
Yes.
feel like that's way after I quit playing the game.
Yeah, that's
so
a Red
yeah, it
Horizon
is.
set, right?
Oh
No,
okay.
that is a level 99 set.
Oh, that's right.
Jasco and level 99 swapped IPs. The World of Endines is part of their their card game, which its name is escaping me. Who cares? It's not a Level 99 podcast.
Right.
But yeah, I played in that, and I had been playing for 6 months prior. It was I got right at the tail end of that like 2 year drought, right? Of the in between the Mega Man set.
Hmm.
There was like apparently before my time, like a 2 year drought where there was some changing of hands at Jasco. Things were given to uh uh passed off the buck, and then a thing wasn't done, and that just like snowballed into this huge problem that they just like literally didn't have a set for 2 years.
Oh wow.
We kind of got that feeling pandemic wise, but like that wasn't any one individual's fault. It was
Yeah.
literally, there was a pandemic. But
Right.
yeah. But yeah, I got started with Miles Tyler from Legendary Wolf Games. Big shout outs, dude. He demoed the game whenever we were all at a card store playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and he's like, "Yo, I'm playing this Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. We're chill. You want to demo this game? I know that you like Street Fighter, and I've got this Kin Masters deck, and it was like this Kin deck that like apparently like discarded your opponent's entire hand, like absolutely crazy and busted, versus his Terry deck, which he is very infamous for. Um, and I demoed the game, and it was fine. It was fun. It was whatever. But like, I was like so close-minded about Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is the best game ever. There's no way that another card game could ever capture my soul. I was still having like debates about like Yu-Gi-Oh versus Magic. That's how like indoctrinated in Yu-Gi-Oh was.
Mhm.
Anyways, I pick up a job at a card shop, and the UFS crew rolls in. It's like, yo, we have more products. There's Mega Man stuff out now. And I go, Mega Man? Like, I could play as like Mega Man characters? And they were like, yeah. And then Tyler Clark from TCG University gave me a 60 card Dr. Wily structure deck. He took a Dr. Wily one dot structure deck and souped it up and was like, you're here every Saturday because you run the store. If we're ever odd, you're playing. And I went,
Nice.
okay. And once again, straight to the moon. Non-stop from there.
Nice.
That's like
I
a
got
total
in
UFS community thing, right? Just like, hey, here's a deck. Like that's just something
Yeah.
that doesn't happen in other card games.
Hmm.
for sure, 100%. Yeah, not a thing.
Yeah.
But then I got in tight with the crew, and then they started making content, and I had a podcast from way back in the day, and you can go look this up. We've since disbanded because of schedules, but a podcast called 3-Hit Combo, where I was one of the three sometimes 4 cast members on that, and we talked about just like weird wacky news, and it's just a comedy podcast, and it was fun. But it kind of like sparked something in me of like podcasting is a thing, and none of the other people had done it before. They were just like seeing the big guys, right? Like Rooster Teeth was like a big inspiration for TCGU. Tyler Clark and James Stevens, both massive Rooster Teeth heads, and
Okay.
they wanted to make content like that. Um,
So Rooster
and
Teeth, red versus blue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're myriad of products, right? Like
Yeah.
they've got so many products over Rooster Teeth, insane. But that's what they wanted to be. They wanted to be the Rooster Teeth of UFS. And
Nice.
so I have a bit of camera presence. I would say that my highest stat on my character sheet is charisma, and so I was the go-to host, and I hosted the UFS University study halls for a bit.
Very cool. Very cool, man. That's awesome. And I definitely agree about like it's really hard to get people into a new card game. And there's one thing about UFS I feel is that like if you can just get them that first little taste,
Mhm.
then you
Yeah.
got them. They're hooked because it
Yep.
is such a unique card game. It's unlike any other card game. It's you just got to get in there. In fact, we had a couple people stop by. We had our locals yesterday. We had 1 or 2 people stop by and like, oh, my hero has a card game.
Right.
And we're like, yeah, you should check it out. And they were like, I don't know. I'm here to buy Warhammer 40K stuff. I don't know if I can really afford another habit. You're like, just a little taste. Just come on, we'll demo it for you. Come on.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that Jessica's done such a good job with their starter deck product this time around. The 2 rival decks are so like actually competitive. I went and I was playing the Achako deck that I'm gonna play later today. Now we've dated the episode. At the 1K, and I tied with this person because she absolutely mollywopped me on a turn and just like took me from 17 down to 1, and I was like,
Yep.
huh. Well, that came out of a box. You didn't put any real time into that, so I guess we'll go to game 3. And then time got called.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. That's awesome.
So you,
Yeah.
So
can I ask a question that's not on the list of questions?
of
Yeah, for
course,
sure.
never know.
So like you said you're from Omaha. I didn't actually know that. So how has that like benefited you? Like when you came in as a new player, having such a large play group and a bunch of like veterans around you, did that just make the transition in a lot easier?
I'm so unbelievably privileged from where I live. I could not imagine being the only person in my entire state to play this card game. It's like a spot that I can't even put myself into mentally. If I had seen Universus and I tried to play it all by my lonesome, there's no shot that I would be here today.
Yeah.
Tam Cardwell would be your reigning national Yu-Gi-Oh champion by now for sure. For sure. Obviously.
10 times running, man. Come on.
Yeah, of course. But no, it has helped a ton. Everybody in the community. I've had over the course of like just in Omaha, 2-3 dozen people affect me and my gameplay, and like a consistent basis. You know how crazy it is to have Mark Tyner just DM me and be like, "Yo, when can we meet up and practice?"
Yeah.
That feels great, man.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
awesome.
I got this spicy deck that I want you to play. Keep it a secret. Like you get to be on the inside just because of where you live. Yeah, it's rad. It's very very it's awesome. And um it's amazing to learn from all of these players because everybody like plays the game differently, and this
Right.
is a game that you're allowed to do that in like all aspects of the game. Deck building, piloting, decision making in individual turns. Like it's crazy getting other people's opinions and just growing that way.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Like if you're judging an event or just watching other people play, and they take a line that you didn't see. Like it's cool to talk to people after the fact and be like, "Why don't you do this thing?" and just like get into their head. And I think in a
Mhm.
lot of other card games, the lines are a lot more rigid, where you don't really have to make
Yeah.
as many decisions. So that's one thing I really love about UVS and the MHA format.
Yeah, or
Uh,
even just with that, like if trying to talk to an opponent after a game, like people might be salty, and people like for other games, I feel like UFS is a much more welcoming community where it
yeah.
is that open discourse is as much is just there. Whereas like a Magic, you had like a PTQ or something, and you like you beat somebody or you question why they did something, they get kind of like uptight and like personally offended by it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. A new thing that I've started doing is taking pictures of my game state on my phone. And I'll just
Hmm.
be like, I think I have a winning line here if I go this way, but I'm gonna try something different. Here, let me take this picture real click. After the game, I'm gonna reset up this board and see what a different line was supposed to look like. And
Cool.
like having my opponent help me walk me through that line. Or another way that I practiced back when I was with TCG like a ton is we would play 4-player games, but we would like do two-headed giant. And
Okay.
so we would go back and forth on attack cards. Like I would play an attack and then like you would do all the enhances or like a two-headed chess or whatever. Like just have two people literally piloting the same game or like talking to each other. And it was really really helpful because like you miss a lot of lines and it helps you get your conscious competence up. Um, if we're gonna use those big
Yeah.
psychological terms.
I
Yeah, I
would go
like
with it.
that.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh, awesome, man. Well, let's see. Thinking a little bit more about UFS. You've been playing here for a while.
John,
What
I got to
is
stop
your?
you. Could you
Oh, sorry.
please
Am I too far back?
could you please say UVS and not UFS so we don't get banned?
Oh, oh my god. Look, back when I played, it was called UFS. All right. Sorry. You've been
that's very
playing
funny.
UVS here for a while.
Since
What
Universe's
is?
creation, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What's your favorite set or block from the game? Is it like that Mega Man set from back when you first got in, or is it one of the later sets? Is it like a Cowboy Bebop? I know a lot of people have hold that one dear to their heart.
Um. So a cheating answer is like when I fell in love with the game was in the Battle for Power set, which literally just rotated.
Hmm.
So uh, it was my favorite set because I made a splash on the scene with Dr. Wily Two Dot. We went down to an Atlanta PTC, one of the Pro Tour circuits, and I fought a bunch of old heads, your Piglets, your J Rays, your Phil Birches, your Clint Badgers,
Your Dave Wagner's, your
your
Drew
Dave, yeah,
Maffei's. Yeah.
right, yeah. And like my first time meeting all these people, and they're playing like the classics, right? Like they're playing like I was one of the few privileged that got to fight Piglet's Clark. Like I got to
Nice.
do that, but I did it with a character that everybody had to read my character card and the asset. Like everybody's like, Dr. Wily 2 dot, what does this guy do? And basically like this the elevator pitch for this deck was I would destroy one of my foundations in order to destroy one of your foundations, but every time that I destroyed one of my foundations, I took the top card of my deck and I built it face down as a foundation. So I didn't lose one, but you did lose one. And I'm the person who like debuted this deck, and everybody was like popping off about it, and I top aided that event. I felt so good. Instantly lost to Jeremy Ray's Mega Man because it was canon and it had to happen, right? Mega Man has to
Yep.
be Dr. Wily. But it really like one of my absolute best memories for Universus was like going and having a bunch of these old heads. The people on cardboard like really matter, to the point where like I showed Phil Birch that deck, he loved it, took and made a way better version of it because he's a better player than I am, and then one cardboard designed his character around it, right?
Oh wow.
Like yeah, Dr. Phil Birch 2 dot is based around Dr. Wily 2 dot because and that wouldn't have happened if I didn't get to show him how cool it was.
That's
So that's
cool.
like a cool memory for me. Besides that, I know a lot of people dog on it. I really enjoyed the Street Fighter format. I get that like a lot of the characters weren't playable, but I played as the best Street Fighter character for Vega, and so like I didn't have a problem with it. But I enjoyed the gameplay loops that Vega and that format had of like stringing together a bunch of moves and having a lot of moving pieces.
Mhm.
And then a little closer to current time, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat I thought was fine. I almost quit the game for Bebop.
Oh really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Power creep a little too much.
yeah. I couldn't find a deck that spoke to me. With this deck that was all about expression, I felt like the Bebop set didn't do a very good job of letting people express themselves in the game. And boy howdy, I was so tired of losing to Punch and Judy. Man, it
I've
was
heard of such things. Yeah.
yeah, it was real rough. But I just the way that I adapted was I literally just didn't build decks in that format. I just was handed decks and I would just pilot.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
that's cool.
and then to round it out, honestly, I have not had as much fun in a format as I have had in My Hero.
Okay.
Genuinely. I think the My Hero format is so good. It's so
I mean,
perfection.
it's
It's so
no,
good.
it's the reason I came back to play the game. I totally agree with that. It's it's the most fun I've had playing a card game, and the UFS has always been my favorite card game, but it's the most fun I've had playing in a while. And so I'm
Yeah.
glad, and I love
Yeah.
the show too. So that's just like cherry on top.
True.
Because when I started playing, I didn't actually care about fighting games. It was just my friends are playing this card game. Let's check it out. So
Right.
now that
Okay, yeah.
I actually like the property, so that's like even better.
Nice. That's perfect.
Yeah. So I guess my next question was going to be like, why did you start doing so much content with the My Hero format? But I guess that kind of answers itself because, as you were just saying, maybe it's just like you just love the format so much more, or is this like when you kind of started making a push and getting more serious on making content, or what was the line of there?
So I have wanted to make content and be a content creator in some sort of capacity ever since all the way back in Three Hit Combo, right? Like
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
podcast that I'm begging all of you don't look up. Uh, it's you get to hear fresh out of high school Tam talk about funny news articles, and
I
I
mean,
don't
that's
I don't.
for sure what I'm gonna do. I've got an hour drive to work every day.
Oh
I'm looking this
no!
up.
Oh no! Um, but I've wanted to be a content creator, and I love Universes and being involved in TCG University. We were making content for a bunch of different games, and I really wanted to envelop this idea of being the Rooster Teeth of card games. I wanted that really bad. I wanted TCG to be a household name, kind of like how Channel Fireball's doing right now, and with them branching out to not just Magic, but they've also got Flesh and Blood, and I think they're doing some MetaZoo stuff too. Um, easily could pick up this game as well, and then start this game explodes even further, right? But like I wanted that household name. Me and TCGU split. It was incredibly healthy. It was super nice. Stuff happened behind the scenes I can't talk about. But like we split, and I couldn't give up content creation. I just couldn't do it. And so I tried to do some standard stuff, and man, nobody cares about standard. Just nobody does. It's insane how few people care about standard. And so then I try to do some flesh and blood stuff, but I am more of a casual player of that game. I'm not as in depth with the like skill, knowledge, and the ability to articulate my points and opinions on that game as well as the mechanics of Universus. Universus just clicks for me, dude. I just get it. And so when My Hero came out, it's an IP that everybody cares about. I had a head start because I know how to play Universus really well. Like I've done amazing at Worlds level events, right? Like top 16, top 8 at Worlds feels great. Top 16, top 8 at Nationals feels great. Going in and placing very high in teams, like deep runs in teams formats. Like I know what's going on. And so I kind of got to hit the ground running with making content for My Hero, and then the fact that Jasco's done a decent job advertising the game, the fact that the old UVS heads have done a good job at advertising the game, and kind of being able to sprint where everybody else was like learning the game, it's helped a ton, right? Like I'm pretty sure that I make more content than anybody out there. I'm
easily
posting out videos daily, and you've got a spot where I'm gonna give away all my secrets to content creation, but but we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, it's just the My Hero format comes really easy to me. At least set 1, right? Set 2, I'm gonna be a total buster. But set 1, just like makes sense, and I like get it, and it really helps that the community is like pining for this information, and I get to be a person that gives it to them.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think you're in an awesome spot with what you do for the MHA format, because like you're the only person that's on playing games every day, letting new people see how these decks actually interact with each other, and you do a really good job of getting your community involved, playing community games and stuff all the time. So I think you're just like doing the best job of interacting with the community and actually community building. You know, we do more content where we talk to each other about things and, you know, analyze, you know, characters and symbols and stuff. But you're out there like doing live interaction stuff, which I think is super important for the community.
Yeah, it's really good to have that person. I was just gonna say it's really good to have that person out there, and especially you're not just playing the same decks. It's not just I'm Kirishima versus Eraserhead. It's hey, here's this random character off this random symbol. Let's try this. Let's see what happens. I think that's really important for newer players that don't want to get overwhelmed. Like, oh my god, I have to play Void Kirishima because that's all anyone plays. It's really good to have that representation out there of all the decks and all the symbols. And appreciate you doing that, man.
Well, I appreciate. I mean, there's a point to it where, man, if Kirishima's in every thumbnail, it gets so boring. And there's only like 6 pictures of him that are good on the internet anyways, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta really spice it up. And man, matchups are boring, and the format becomes solved when it actually isn't, right? I don't think our community is big enough to solve the format at its current state. Whenever we get and I'll compare it to another game again. As soon as we get like Yu-Gi-Oh, big Flesh and Blood, big Pokemon, but we can say that we've solved the format. But like, guys, if you're having a problem with Kirishima, there are answers. He statistically is the best deck in the format for sure. But there are, I mean, go play Fire Ojiro and laugh at him, and actually laugh at how absolutely massive your burst speeds get, and just laugh at him. Just laugh, or not burst speed. Your
Reciprocal burst.
Recipro burst. Right. So I got burst speed on the brain. I was playing Bakugo last night.
I saw that.
Nice. So when you're looking at cards, when you're building a deck, how do you evaluate a card? Like, what for you makes a card good? Like, what are you looking for in a card that's like, man, this is going to be a staple, or like this is maybe a sideboard card?
How interactive the card is, right? Like if there's not a lot of interaction with the card on my end, it feels great. things like latent skill. Currently, there's only 2 cards that say the word cancel on their face, and it's a character card and in a foundation that you get to sit and play around. So things like latent skill until we get something that says response cancel and enhance. Response cancel if your opponent tries to draw. Until that happens, a staple, easy.
Yeah.
And so there's like layer 1, and then layer 2, cards that interact with a lot of things that my opponents are doing, such as Night Watch, right? That's a staple in those symbols. Like if you're playing action cards, which you do, you play high impact cards on my opponent's turn. The second way to look at it is useful spam. I think useful spam will exist forever, right? Like I don't know how you print a better card speed hate wise than release without giving it like a 5 check.
Yeah.
Like as soon as they print like a 0-5 with a semi decent block that gets me out of deadlock and says that I can destroy committed foundations to get +2 to my a nutty card.
Yep.
Staple will be a 3 of minimum in every deck that can run it.
Yeah, it's not even unique.
It's not even unique.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And then you get into things like attacks packages where it's like this engine will be good. I'm not sure if there are necessarily staple attacks currently, but I do think that there are staple packages. Things like I can run 0 gravity lift and meteor shower in a deck and just feel good about it, right? And just like I can jam that under any of these symbols, even if the other 8 attacks that I'm playing, the other 12 attacks that I'm playing aren't doing this thing. This little package can just work in and of itself, and that's at least how set 1's shaking up. We'll have to see with set 2, you know.
Okay, cool.
And then plus ultra, and plus ultra's great.
Yeah, I mean, plus ultra definitely a staple. I think there might be some staple attacks, right? Like I have a hard time thinking I wouldn't play Hardened Chop in any deck with those symbols. Like even if you're playing like Void Kicks, like you might just slide Hardened Chop in the deck and have like 14 kicks. You know what I mean? Because the value you get out of Hardened Chop is just so high.
Yeah, I mean that's fine as long as there's a way to like pump the damage on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're playing things like funny enough, the card Hardened. Yeah,
Right.
Hardened and Hardened Chop is like, but then again, there's that package, right?
Yeah.
So I could see that. You could say the same thing about like a Hardened Jab and Coordinated Effort,
Yes.
right? Like
Those
I
two
don't
cards
know
together.
how.
Yeah,
Man, those 2 cards frustrate me to no end.
Yeah.
you always got, if you've got Void, Earth, or Good, you're gonna run at least 1 coordinated effort. Like there's gonna be a
Right.
spot. It's for some reason it has a 6 control check on it. I'm not sure about that why that does, but it does, and so you're gonna put it in there, right?
Yeah.
It needed it. It really
Yeah.
needed the help.
It was it was it was really down on its luck. It really wasn't seen. It was never gonna see a deck unless it had that 6 control check, right?
True.
Um,
True.
And that
Oh,
+2
man.
mid block.
And a commit cost.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and maybe the best deadlock enhance in the game. I don't know. It's just it's
a
a
shame
real
they-
Cinderella story.
It's a shame they
Yeah.
misprinted it and put unique on it by accident.
Yeah.
So currently, who's your favorite character in the game? Not necessarily like your favorite from the show, but like just favorite card. Like this is my favorite character. I want to play them from now until forever.
Ochako one.
A Choco
Easy.
one. Okay.
Easy. I think that character's gameplay loop is so unbelievably fun.
Mhm.
7 hand size character as long as I have an attack card, being able to tell my opponent she's actually like, and here's the secret sauce, she has coordinated effort on her face,
Yeah.
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 right? It's like that is sneaky text, and everybody complains about coordinated effort because of how good it is at Kirishima. Ochako just kind of gets to do that. Like she starts with coordinated effort out.
Yeah.
And she does it
just
better
always.
than coordinated effort.
Yeah, because
True.
and also it gets around Eraserhead, right? Like that
Yeah.
part of her ability gets around Eraser.
Yeah.
So it's always gonna fire.
Yeah, that I think that deck is unbelievably fun, and you can play like a really consistent, like the 12 attack deck that Shane and Ace Maneuvers put out. Ace Maneuvers did the loop, and then Shane did a full deck on it. Like you can play like this 12 attack deck, or you can play like a really consistent like toolboxy deck. Like there's
Mhm.
because of how open and wide her kit is, she feels really she feels like she has a lot of moving pieces that you can steer your ship pretty quick, as opposed to being like locked into this one gimmick of like Air Bakugo right now feels like you just play a bunch of Bakugo cards. You play a bunch of cards with his face on it, and you wish for the best. That is not how she works.
Yeah.
You can play a myriad of stuff. It's very cool.
Ochako is really cool because she's super new player friendly as well. Like she's very fun for a new player to play. There's a bunch of decks you can build that maybe aren't like the most optimal, but they're still fun to play and they can still win games. But like the very best Ochako decks are like borderline S tier. So she's fun on all spectrums. Because we have some new players playing her and they have a lot of fun with her, and they're not necessarily playing the best version, but they're still having a lot of fun and they're taking games off some of the better decks.
Agreed. And I actually feel that like that's kind of the reason I like the My Hero format altogether. Is I feel like that exists in a lot of ways. I bet somebody's gonna crack a code on like Life Ayama, and they're just gonna murder people with 15 damage throws.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, what do you do, Kirishima? What are you gonna do about it? Hey, this one's for 15. This one's for 15. You took
GG.
you took it.
Yeah.
GG. Yeah. Like, people just got to be willing to take that risk and explore those options.
Yeah, the scary thing about Aoyama that we've talked about a lot is just like if Kirishima becomes the face of the format, or not Kirishima, but Eraserhead becomes the face of the format, Aoyama just looks very sad and then just turns around and goes home
True.
because he just can't
Yeah.
do anything at all.
Well, that's when you side into Uraraka.
Right?
Or I actually think Shoji plays that throw deck really well too. Right?
Yeah, just pull it back every turn.
Just pull. I'll pay 5 to pull back this throw. I'll play this. Do you want to erase my +4 damage? No, you
Right.
don't. And I don't care if you block with your breaker card. Like, that doesn't matter.
Yep.
And he just like plays that kit really, really, really tight.
Nice. So you favorite characters in Uraraka. I'm gonna go ahead and guess your favorite deck is probably an Uraraka deck.
Yes. Yeah. That
Is
is.
it-
That's,
what symbol are we looking at? Air, life, chaos? Probably not life, but
I'm playing air. I had a chaos deck built. And it started as Denki, and it was just like a meteor shower deck, and it was fine. But then I actually got to give a big shout out to one of my regulars in Twitch. Her name's Nil. She was playing an Ochako deck that was like 4xing Blitz Rush. And I was like, well, this card's not amazing, but the way that you're playing this deck is really interesting, because she was playing Meteor Shower, but she just like would refuse to pick them up. She just wouldn't do it.
Hmm.
She just would like end her turn with 2 or 3 Meteor Showers in her momentum. And I'm like, well, you're showing me that we don't need this card. And so what if we play the deck like knowing we don't need this card? And so we just like put in a bunch of tech options. And so we did a deck doctor on it on stream, and it inspired me so much that I was like, I have to have this deck. Like, we have to play this. It's it is so unbelievably fun, this this list.
Yeah, I played against her in the webcam weekly a couple weeks ago, playing that Uraraka deck, and she was piloting it really well. I assume that's a similar list to what you're playing now.
Yeah, it might be the exact list, because like she gave me the inspiration. Anytime that I like make changes in my line, I just shoot to the list, because like it's like the cool thing to do. Right?
Yeah.
It would be really lame for me to be like, yo, I'll take all my experience and like make this deck and then hoard like a dragon, and like you figure it out. That's
Right.
lame.
yeah, very cool. Well, switching gears a little bit, talking about your stream is actually a pretty good segue here. I know we talked about you do a lot of streaming matches and stuff like that. You do Tam Tuesdays for the Jasco streams and stuff. What kind of a prep work, what kind of behind the scenes stuff goes into like getting your setup ready, getting your daily streams going?
It's a lot of work, guys. it's a bunch. It's really easy to sit down. And the first week that My Hero came out, what I did was I sat down, and people were barely in chat. I had like 3 or 4 chatters, and I sat here and I went, I want to play games with you. And then I sat here and nobody wanted to play games with me. And so I sat on stream for 30 minutes straight, twiddling my thumbs, not playing games. And so then I went, well, nobody wants to play games with me because nobody knows who I am and nobody knows how to play games and so on and so forth. And so I did what all good content creators do, and I stole inspiration from other people, right? There's a content creator whose name is Ludwig. He used to have the most subs on Twitch. He has now since moved to YouTube. And he talks sometimes very openly about like streaming. He's like the top 6 paid streamer on Twitch, and he's only started like 2 years ago. Like absolutely massive, unbelievable glow up. And basically he goes, if you want to be successful on Twitch, you have to be good on YouTube. Like YouTube has to be your main outlet for your reach. And then you have to treat every Twitch stream like you're recording a YouTube video, right? What's the beginning, what's the middle, what's the end, what are the stakes, what's the point? And so when we talk about my Tam talks, the one that I have coming up for tomorrow, dating the show, is I have a video that I'm going to be talking about the meta breakdown from all the tournaments for the past week, which I still have to make. And I've made like a 12 to 15 point slideshow of here's the DLC it just released. What's good with it? Here's what's good with the character cards, and here's where you can take these attacks and foundations and supplement them into other decks, right? It's a loose form. I don't have a script made for it. It's just me talking to Twitch chat. But I have to go in with the idea of what does the YouTube video look like? What's the thumbnail? What's the title? What's that? And then from there I get to kind of work backwards of this using your DLC to the best of its ability, right? And there's the pitch, and then we get to go in. And so like that's how I prepare these Tam talks is like what's the elevator pitch? What's the YouTube video? And then from there, people care about that. They click on the video, they come see the stream, and then now on Thursdays I can look at the camera when I've got 30 people in my chat and go, "Yo, I want to play games with you." And then I get to record 7 matches in a night, and look, I've got daily content for the week because I at minimum record 7 videos on that Thursday night. As I am finishing up my 7 videos, I start the editing process while I'm live in between playing other people, right? After I've got my core 7, if I go beyond that, I'm editing as I'm doing it. Because man, rendering videos takes forever.
It does.
And then you go, what else does the community need, right? I guess I play games on Fridays. Sorry, on Thursdays, there's the Throwdown Thursdays that happen, and so I just record an entire tournament series, and so I've got a 3-hour-long video of a tournament going out, which is like somebody likes to get the content in the 10-minute bursts, which is like what the Tam talks are for. Somebody likes matches, and somebody wants to grind a 3-hour video. Somebody's super down to go on a journey with you for 3 hours, and so making sure that you're available and can hit all 3 of those and not zone in on one area is really, really important to me, at least. I'm sure there's other content creators who agree or disagree.
Awesome, man. Well, I know you said it's a lot of hard work, but you make it look easy. Like, your stuff's real refined. It looks real crisp. It looks real good out there, man.
Well, thank you. It is a lot of trial and error, and genuinely, like a lot of looking at people that inspire me and mimicking it, right?
Yeah.
Going and looking at Ludwig, going and looking at Small Ant, who's another streamer, looking at Rooster Teeth, we've talked about before, looking at Kinda Funny. Kinda Funny is like one of my biggest inspirations. I got a playmat signed by the Kinda Funny guys in the background. And the way that they handle their company is like so mind-blowing to me. The way that they handle it. Greg Miller is such an icon for me. That I just take in yoink and twist, right? Like I steal the idea and I spin it to the way that we did it. And sometimes it's a good thing, right? Like I did an Iron Man, and I've got another one coming up where I put a challenge out to do win a match with every character in set 1, all 18 characters. And I wouldn't end stream until I got done. I played games for 14 hours straight. It was just
wow.
one after another. It was honestly the hardest thing I've ever done as a card game player. And I've got another one where I've decided that I'm going to do even the rest of the characters. I'm doing every character except for the provisionary pack characters. We hit a goal on Twitch. And that video was really successful and like really popped off. And then I did a video where every time that I lost a match or I lost a game, I took a shot of lemon juice.
Oh man.
It's,
So
that sounds.
And those videos tanked. Those videos were so bad. Those videos did not do very good. And so I went through the stress and the hassle for the video to not do great on YouTube.
Yeah,
you know? It happens, right? Like,
it.
sometimes you just miss, right?
Yeah, sometimes you miss, but like I wouldn't know that like it probably was my thumbnail or the way that I delivered my speech at the beginning or something, right? And I can change and adapt if I don't know what doesn't work. I you gotta go out and explore and try things.
Yeah, makes for a great story.
It does. I caught some of the end of your Iron Man stream that day, and you were pretty defeated by the end of the day because you had been playing for so long, right? I tuned in and you were like, "Fuck."
I was on a really hot streak. I hit like honestly like 7 or 8 wins in a row, like matches. And it's so much pressure knowing that like you're down to your last 2 characters, and it goes to game 3, and if you miss this game, you got to be live for like another hour.
Yeah.
Oof.
Like hour 12 going into hour 13, you're like, if I lose as Tokoyami, I have to just try again, and that sucks. Yeah.
Man, I props to I definitely I could never do that. There's no way.
It's most of it's fun.
Yeah.
And as long as Chad enjoys it, like that's what matters, you know?
Yeah, I got you. So stay on the topic of your channel and that kind of stuff. What are your long-term goals? Like, where do you see your, like, in a year, maybe, where do you see this channel going? What do you hope to have accomplished or hope to have in the works?
Honestly, the biggest thing that I miss doing is a podcast, actually. I feel like I leveled up as not just a Universus player, but as a card game player as a whole, from sitting down and talking with my friends and really theory crafting things for an hour and a half every week. I don't know if I'll do a weekly thing because that's a lot of time for the content that I'm already doing. But a podcast would be very fun to do. I want to get in Jasko's pocket, and I want to be the go-to commentator for IRL events, right? I snap my fingers, and the pandemic is completely and totally over. Superman comes in and gets rid of the yuck, and we do IRL events. I don't even necessarily know if I want to play. Actually, I think just being the guy, the face of one of the faces. I don't want to be the face. I want to be one of the faces for commentary. I think that is so much better and healthier for the game than being a top competitor ever will be. Genuinely. Because it does more things for the competitors. I'm a big fan of Super Smash Brothers Melee and their competitive scene. And if you're not familiar with that scene, this won't make sense to you. But my entire goal is just to be the Bobby Scar of Universus, of the My Hero card game. Just be the people's champ. Be the guy that like everybody loves Bobby Scar, not because he's a good player, but because he tells you how it is, and he's got the knowledge, and he's just a real hype caster. It makes the game fun to enjoy, even if you're not sitting down slinging cardboard.
Feel that,
I think that's really, really important to me.
Yeah, so to go on a little tangent here, so that sounds like a really awesome thing to be able to get into. I worked with a guy who was a big Pokemon player. He had like top 8 worlds in Pokemon, and I worked with him at he was a part-time guy I worked with at Lowe's hardware store. He followed that career path and went to do like traveling commentating for Pokemon all over the world, man. Like they put you up in a hotel, give you money to travel to the hotel, food, and everything, and he kind of got to live out that dream like you're talking about, where he's like one of the faces of commentating Pokemon, and it seemed like a really sweet gig, man, for someone who really loves the game and loves to just talk about the game and analyze stuff. It seems like it'd be something really fun to do, so hopefully you can reach that, man, because I think with your personality and your charisma, like you said, that's your highest stat on your character sheet. I think that would be really good for you, man. I think that's a good goal.
I mean, it only happens if you, the good people, reach out to Jasko and let him know it happens, or let him know something that you want, right? Like I don't want to force myself in if that's not something that the people want. That's what matters to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, we know Jason listens to the content stuff, so he's probably going to stumble across this at some point, hopefully, and he'll hear it, and well, get a little in there for you. I hear you, man. I think getting into the commentator game would be great. Like it seems like you said, it's way less stressful too. It's easier on the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
awesome. That's true.
Awesome. So finally, any parting words of wisdom for all our listeners out there who want to dip a toe into the content creator? Because I see obviously in the My Hero Facebook page, there's a ton of people that are like, hey, this is my first whatever, like unboxing. This is my first like deck build. Like what do you guys think? And I see a lot of people like do like a one of, and then you hear from them again, and it's kind of heartbreaking because I want people to. We need more people out there. Like the more, the better,
Sure.
right? Like so.
High
What
tides raise all ships.
Exactly. What advice would you give to these guys and gals just getting started in their content creator careers?
Man, I got 1,000 things I want to say. I have so many things.
Hey, man, go off, man. Pop off.
Okay. The very first thing you need to do is you gotta do your homework. You have to actually understand what it means to be a content creator for your game, and understand your expectations and temper your expectations, right? Like you're going to come out the gate and I'm gonna look around the camera. Your videos are gonna suck. Your videos are not going to be good. They're going to be bad. And just like understand that and accept that. And then go back and review your footage. Go back and take the criticism that you get in the comments. Go back and take the criticism and then work and progress that. You don't need $1,000 camera. You don't need $1,000 mic. You don't need a bunch of editing software. You need a drive, and you need a clear path. You watch content, hopefully. I'm not even saying card content. I don't watch card content. I don't watch a lot of it. Man, it's crazy how like how like the chef doesn't go home and cook for his family. He orders takeout. That is very much how I feel with card game content. I do my absolute best to catch a little from everybody throughout the week, but I mean, like you said, there's a ton of people jumping on. I try to cherry pick some things that I want to watch, but I watch a lot of other people's content. Take the content that you like to see, adapt it to how you want to do your thing, and then put that out, right? If you want to do a podcast like how Rooster Teeth or hell, let's talk about the big dog. If you like Joe Rogan's podcast, do a Joe Rogan podcast for Universus. Do that. But just like you have to twist it in a way that makes it yours and unique and your own. And then like the easiest advice and the easiest advice for me to say, but the hardest advice for you to take, just do it. Just actually record some videos. Make 5, 6, 10 videos before you even launch your channel. Just make a bunch of stuff, put it out, and look at it and go, did I enjoy doing this? Because as soon as you put it out and you get 3 views on your first 10 videos, you're gonna go, I suck and I don't want to do this anymore. But if you do those first 10 videos and you're like, I really enjoyed doing this, then you can sit and get something out of this content creation, not for other people, but for yourself. And then the people will come to you because it's more genuine. As soon as you start chasing that number, it is actually all downhill. It's actually all downhill. As soon as you start chasing a number, right? It becomes really, really tough.
Yeah, you got to enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, it's going to be miserable the entire time.
And the people can tell. They can super, super tell. I mean, you guys came in, you literally said, man, I caught the end of that stream and you look like you weren't enjoying yourself. Yeah, and I was trying to smile. I was trying to keep on the face, and you instantly knew. If you if you're not having fun, then it's obvious. It's so obvious.
I totally get that. And that's kind of like when we started our stuff, it was like, man, no one's going to watch this, but that's totally fine because I just want to talk about cards with my friends. And that's kind of always been our goal. And like you said, man, it can be tough out there. And just I think the biggest thing that I would reiterate is just getting the reps. You got to get the reps in.
Right.
You just got to do it and you think like, oh man, if I only had this many views, that's not what it's about. It's about just get your videos out there, just keep doing it, and by getting the reps, then you'll actually get find what your niche is maybe, because that also takes
Yeah.
some time too. I think because you don't like someone just starting out, they see Tam and like, oh man, I want to be just like Tam. Like no, don't be just like Tam. You got to find your own way, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, do
So,
things incredibly similar to me, but just like don't copy my exact thumbnails. Don't copy my
Sure.
exact cadence. Imitation is flattery, but like you're not gonna be a better me than I am. You
Yeah.
can't
Right.
be. Just like I can't be a better than you can.
And then to your point, the viewers will notice. They'll
Mhm.
say like, oh, this person's just kind of like a
Knock off
or
Tam.
like, yeah, knock off
Right.
Tam, and why would I watch this when I could just go watch the actual product, right?
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, God, this is awesome. I appreciate you coming on. I can't think of a better way for our first interview to have gone than having you on, man. This is great.
Well, I appreciate that.
Oh.
I am it makes me feel good that you think that I was special enough to be the first. You know?
Nice. Well, real quick before we get out of here, what you got going on this week, man? I know you got your normal videos and stuff, but is there anything special coming up, or is it just kind of a normal week for you, or what we got cracking?
Today at time of recording, I've got today's time of recording, I've got a 1K that I'm playing in. Monday, I've got my Tam Talks. On Thursday, I'm supposed to do an online event. Friday, I'm playing games with the community over on Twitch. Saturday normally is a day off. I have to go play Flesh and Blood at my locals. And then Sunday normally is commentary, like most Sundays, but that's probably not gonna happen tonight. But yeah, I just on the grind, just getting over a
Nice.
sickness and pushing through. There it is.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you guys coming on, or well, you guys, we appreciate you coming on, and we appreciate all you guys out there listening to us. Unless you guys got anything else, I think it's gonna do it for us. Well, thanks for stopping by and having a great week, everybody. We appreciate it.
Have a good one.
So.